Wow, it's been 2 weeks. Let me just repeat myself. It's been 2 weeks since we've had a Dark Deception video here on the channel related to Chapter 4 and whatnot. But today, we are back. I purposely waited. I told y'all, and it is time. What is this, SmackNPie? Welcome to Dark Deception video here on the channel. Today we have a mega news update. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you are subscribed and notifications on for more videos just like this one. Now without wasting any more time, let us begin. Now before we get to that, I'm gonna start with Monsters and Mortals. Now if you haven't watched my previous Yandere Simulator DLC Monsters and Mortals videos, I would highly recommend you guys to watch that out. It has all the necessary information that you guys need to know about the upcoming Yandere Simulator DLC for Monsters and Mortals. All the characters, boss, and how the story lore is working out for that. Really cool. What did I just said? I'll put the link somewhere up in there. So let's do all the else. Let's talk a little bit more about Monsters and Mortals. So now we talked about this before, that Glowstick Entertainment's main focus is Dark Deception Enhanced. That is why we're not seeing a lot of Monsters and Mortals updates. But the big thing that we do know that is related to Chapter 4 is the maps, or are the maps that are coming from Chapter 4 to Monsters and Mortals. Now, Monsters and Mortals official account, I've even said it in my previous video, that the next base game map additions are in this order. This is the order. So starting with Crazy Carnival, so the first map that'll drop. These maps are free, by the way, the ones that I'm gonna announce here. Crazy Carnival will be the first addition, which means Crazy Carnival will come with its own boss for that level in Monsters and Mortals. Then we have Mascot Mayhem, which is an interesting thing to jump to immediately after Chapter 4. I personally felt like Mascot Mayhem should have been the first one immediately after Chapter 4, you know, because the craziness and hype for JoJo Gang is a lot more than any other level. So that is just my personal take of it. But Mascot Mayhem, it is yet to be known which zone of Mascot Mayhem will be making it into Monsters and Mortals. We know Crazy Carnival's first zone, but I'm not quite sure about this because even though it was revealed by Vincent Livings, a lot of things can change. You never know with this franchise. But anyways, the third map will be Torment Therapy, the nurses one. And then we have finally Barely Buried. So by that point, you have mostly all the characters from Chapter 4 out for Monsters and Mortals anyway. That would be a great thing in my personal opinion. The library of Monsters and Mortals is going to be packed. There's going to be a lot of levels to play in. I hope each update comes separately rather than one big update. I know that's what they're going for, but I really hope each update comes separately, because if they post everything together, it just becomes a little too much. I'd say a week or two between each update isn't half bad, considering there's going to be a long gap between Chapter 4 and Chapter 5, or even Chapter 4 and Evil and the Broken Mask, or even Chapter 4 and Yandere Simulator DLC. If this comes before Yandere Simulator DLC, that is. Most likely not. Maybe. We can't underestimate it, because one is DLC, so it's going to be a paid content for Monsters and Mortals. The other is free content for Monsters and Mortals. By the way, I just drank tea. There's just too much saliva in my mouth. Pause. So let's move on. Alright, now I've made a complete separate video on this, but the upcoming 2020 schedule for Glowstick Entertainment games is as follows. Just for those of you who haven't watched that video, quickly, it is in this specific order, so listen carefully. First, it is Dark Deception Enhanced and Chapter 4 coming together for everybody. We'll talk more about it in just a second. Then next, after that, is Evil and the Broken Mask. We don't know if this is gonna hinder the Monsters and Mortals Chapter 4 maps or not. We're going to talk about it in just a second. Then, and finally, we have Monsters and Mortals Yandere Simulator DLC, followed by They Grow, because They Grow the game is coming out around the same time as Yandere Simulator DLC. It could be before or after, but pretty much the release order is going to be around the same. There's a lot of content coming later this year, unfortunately. And speaking of They Grow, we got some new screenshots, not even information, they just straight out giving us new screenshots. Let's start with this one. As you can see on your screen, we have this guy right here. IHS Games called it, it's giving him Stranger Things vibe. What Stranger Things he's been watching? I want to see that episode. I don't recall seeing this episode in specific, but no, seriously, it is really clean, really good. The gunplay was really fun when I was playing it for the first time, and that was the game jam. Now consider, and you can see more screenshots here as well, now it's gonna be even better. The gunplay, the monsters, like basically the developer of this game, he's got backing from Glowstick Entertainment. He would be enjoying the freak out of this. So don't worry, They Grow the game is coming out later this year. I'm personally excited for this. One of the main reasons for this is because of my affection for 2D games and indie games in general, and just the creativity they freaking bring to the table. Okay, now enough of that, let's get to Dark Deception. So first thing first that I want to talk about is the separate both Epic Game Store and Game Jolt pages of Dark Deception have been updated a little bit. Nothing new has been added. However, there are some Dark Deception enhanced screenshots that were showcased on Twitter were added to these pages, both on Epic Game Stores and Game Jolt. Game Jolt in specific have all the new enhanced screenshots, not the old ones, because Epic Game Store still have some old screenshots. So yeah, I've seen some people messaging me about the Game Jolt. Nothing major has been updated over there other than just these enhanced screenshots being added and the old ones being deleted. Then in a quick small Plushy update, Gold Watcher is unfortunately ended its run on Makeship. Now that's a good thing. So if you didn't get the chance, unfortunately it is gone forever. I managed to get in last day. The good thing is that the huge news, and that's a good sign moving forward, is that over 465 plushies were sold. Now if you don't remember, Makeship lowered the target from 400 to 200, and not only they passed 200, they passed 400, and then 465 for Gold Watcher. Imagine Murder Monkey and Agatha. These two will sell big time, so they need to target the marketing for these specific characters and at the time when Dark 7 is at its peak. So when Chapter 4 drops, they need to throw back-to-back plushies. That'll draw in a lot, and I mean a lot of sales. I'm ready for Agatha. I'm gonna buy 2 Agathas. The only time I got 2 plushies was Dread Ducky. The rest of the plushie I have only 1, so yay. Now let's talk about Dark Deception Enhanced because we got some new screenshots related to Dark Deception Enhanced, so let's go through it one at a time. We already have seen, yes, we have seen the manor, but I'll still show you guys again. These are the new screenshots for Dark Deception Enhanced. Now you guys might be wondering, hold on a smack. You make a lot of DD content, but we have yet to see you make separate comparison video for Dark Deception Enhanced. There's a reason for that as well. But anyways, here you can see some arts have been tampered with a little bit. Lighting has been tampered with a lot. A lot of stuff have changed. I've showed this one before and I've showed the other ones as well. But we got 2 more. So we already have the Chapter 1. We already have 2 levels of Chapter 4 done and dusted. Yesterday they released 2 new screenshots, this time from Crazy Carnival Outside Circus, as you can see on your screens, and it has a very depressing tag. It says life is a circus and then you die. This is depressing, honestly. I did not wanted to see that when I logged into Twitter this morning. There isn't much changed here from this angle in the first picture. If you zoom in on the left and the right, you can see the fire. The lighting is now changed a lot to make it more natural, like we've seen with the manor. A lot more old school approach. Now I'm appreciating it a lot more because the more I see it, the more it makes sense, because Beers and Dark Deception World, this world is old. At the very least, it's been going on for a very long time, and so for some of the levels to have modern technology, it doesn't make much sense. Supernatural dark element makes sense, but modern tech not so much. That is why I appreciate the manor lighting. I appreciate it now. Yes, we prefer the old manor because of the lighting. It looks a lot bright and shiny, but now the new manor makes a lot of sense in Dark Deception World. Here it does the same thing as well. Like, it's not top of the line carnival, it's not top of the line toys and rides. It's grounded like it was back in the day. And in the second picture, you can see some lamps have been added. Not much, but like I said, you're not gonna see much difference. Just like it was promised, you're not gonna see much difference, but things are changed from within. Like, textures have been tampered with a lot, lighting, and in the second screenshot you can see this is straight from Unreal Engine viewport. Again, this is not the final build. Final build is yet to be seen by anybody. There will be videos for Dark Deception Enhanced coming soon, and there will be trailers for Dark Deception Enhanced coming soon as well, so stay tuned for that aspect of it. So which means there are still some time left. We have yet to see Zone 1 of Crazy Carnival, we have yet to see Zone 2 of Crazy Carnival, and then we have yet to see the 2 zones of Stranger Sewers. And we don't even know how much changing they're gonna do to the bosses. I do feel like we're getting these screenshots as they're being built right now as we speak. So with all that said and done, let's talk about the base game. There have been some massive changes to not only previous levels, but also the base game as well. And that one has been revealed by Vincent Livings himself. He tweeted out saying a couple days ago, "Remember when you all asked for basic stuff like a better options menu and a USB controller support? That day has finally arrived." So this update is gonna bring a lot of things, and one of this is the UI and options. Here you can see we have the video, audio input, and gameplay. Let's go to the video settings first. As you can see, the resolution, it can be bumped all the way up to 4K. I have a 4K monitor and a 4K resolution supported. Then we have the window mode. That is great. We have borderless window and the windowed mode. It's gonna help a lot of players for low-end PC users, trust me. Then we have VSync. I'll help you out. Turn it off. If you have a low-end PC, just turn it off. Trust me on this one. Then the FPS is what struck me the most. We have 30 FPS expected. 60 FPS expected, but then it goes above 60 FPS. It goes into 120 and a 144. Now 144 really intrigued me. I'm like, hold on. I don't recall 144 FPS for Dark Deception. I don't recall 120 FPS. Matter of fact, I always thought I was playing the game in 60 frames, but then I looked in my recordings and it was 30. So thank goodness I can finally take controls of the FPS. I can finally control them manually. I'm gonna put it all the way in 44, even though my monitor, it is 4K, but it is not 144, it is 60. So at least we can play 4K 60 FPS. Then I'll get a 144 Hz monitor and I'll show you the difference between the 144 Hz and 60 FPS. It's not gonna be noticeable if you don't have 144 Hz monitor, trust me. But at least you're gonna see the smoothness in it. Now I understand. Ugh. Then we got the gamma. You already know what that is. Resolution scale, this is important because even if you change the resolution from there, you still need to do some tweaking here. Again, when chapter 4 comes out and when these settings are available, I'll help you, all of you, to change and tweak the settings for you to run this game to its maximum capacity, both on the high-end PCs, low-end PCs, and mid-end PCs. You Gucci. Now, let's get to the input setting. We can finally change the input settings. As you can see, we have WAS, left shift for sprinting. We have F to interact, which is of course a great thing. We have the interact secondary left mouse button, which we use more than F. Press F in the chat. We have the tablet for spacebar. I think it's perfect. Then we have cycle power delay. I'm so glad that we can now change the power thingy. It was always, and I mean always, a mess for me with powers changing. I would have to press space, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I want to change it to something near WASD. And then you have the 180 turn, resize map and all that. But interestingly enough, we even have customization for the gamepad. So I have a PlayStation 5 controller, I have a PlayStation 3 controller, and an Xbox Series controller. Soon I'll get the Nintendo controller, so don't you worry because we're gonna cover all these controllers with Dark Deception. I'm telling you, we're just waiting for Chapter 4 and Dark Deception Enhanced and all these settings. There's so much content waiting for us on the other hand. But y'all really thought that I'm done? I'm gonna make a video 2 weeks later and I'm just gonna leave you like that? Y'all thought wrong. How wrong y'all thought. What am I doing? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you see the screenshots that I have been showing you, they have secrets hidden in them. So I'm gonna start with the first one, which is the settings one. And if you bright it up, ladies and gentlemen, this is a pause menu. Duh, of course it is a pause menu. How else we're gonna get that? You're gonna see a portal on your left. There is a portal or a barrier, something related to that on your left. And you can see in the middle you have the black thing that shows up when you pause the game. And you can just see an icon, which we'll talk about in this next screenshot. But on the left, this is very extremely important. A lot of people say, this is the face of someone that is actually inside the level. I digress. I say it's actually related to either a portal or a shard barrier, but I could be wrong. And in the next screenshot, if you write this one up, ladies and gentlemen, you can now see the Trigger Teddy logo, which means Vincent Levings was playing Barely Buried when he took this screenshot, which most likely means he's still playtesting Barely Buried. And right now, if I were to take a guess, this is a guess by the way, Barely Buried is still posing a lot more troubles than he initially expected. This is just a guess. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the development. For all I know, I could be talking bullcrap. So if I were to take a guess, playtesting is still happening. Barely Buried is still far from finished in terms of development and programming. Vincent Levings is confident this time around that all the games that I have talked about, Dark Deception Enhanced, Chapter 4, Evil on the Broken Mask, Yandere Similar DLC, They Grow the Game, they're all gonna drop later this year. Like I said, we stopped talking about estimates, we have stopped it here on the channel, but I'm confident that all these projects will come this year, 2021. Because unlike last year, we're actually at least close. And we're not just going by the words of the developers, which that is the #1 place to go. I'm gonna believe it when I see it. Well, we have evidences right now, as I showed you here on the channel. Pause menu, Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3 screenshots that we've shared in the previous videos. Like, all of it is here. We're more closer to these things than we were last year. That is something we can all agree on. Like, we have more gameplay and teasers now than we've had last year. I mean, some of you are gonna be like, duh, are you doo-doo? Are you dumb? Are you grr? But the game is still not out yet. Sure, but I'm not worried about that. One of the things that I always hated about the YouTube scene for gaming is that it only stays relevant for a day or 2, 3 maximum. 3 days maximum. Sequel Theory's third day maximum. Like on the third day of the game launch of Little Nightmares, people talking about Little Nightmares 3, I joined in a week later. So with this one, at least we have Dark Zone Enhanced, Dark Zone Chapter 4, new settings that we can play around, controller support, different settings that we can tweak in, low-end PC, high-end PC, and whatnot. And finally, I want to give you guys an update on the Steam Deck. I made a separate video talking about how that handheld PC will be able to play all Steam games that include Star Egyptian, Dark Zone Enhanced, Dark Zone Chapter 4, Chapter 1 through 3, Evil and the Broken Mask, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Bendy and the Dark Revival, meaning that you don't have to wait to buy a Switch. You don't have to wait for their Switch ports. You can easily play these games handheld when Steam Deck launches later this year. Now, fortunately for me, I managed to get my spot in reservation. As soon as the reservation started, me and my boy Marcus, shout out to him, we kept spamming Steam. We get in. Unfortunately, for some reason, my account said, your account is too early to reserve. Sucker, I've been using this for years, decades. At first it wasn't working. Fortunately, Marcus had another Steam account. I was like, okay, can I use that? He said, sure. So I used that to reserve one there. A few hours later, on my main account, I managed to reserve another Steam Deck. But don't worry, I'm not taking anyone's spot. I'm only gonna buy one. So I make sure that someone else gets their opportunity, someone else get their chance. It is most likely gonna deliver first quarter of 2022, like early 2022. So don't worry, if you still don't have it, you didn't reserve it, I will make videos on it as soon as it drops. Handheld gaming should be the way to go. Like, these things needs to become accessible. VR needs to become accessible, a lot cheaper, easier to use, more game needs to be in there. The market is there. It's just expensive. No one buys it. That is why PlayStation VR is important, especially PlayStation VR 2. Like Oculus and Steam Index, they are far ahead into the game. Like the technology they have, no one else have it in the game. So PlayStation VR needs to upgrade, bring in more people. We can have Dark Zone VR. That is confirmed. It's just gonna happen after Chapter 5. Is it like after Chapter 5 you have console ports, mobile port, VR? Like, there's gonna be a lot of stuff before Dark Zone 2 even arrives, and we can play all that on handheld before that. Subscribe right now, follow me to Instagram, SmackNPie. That was a long video, bro. That is a long video. And also, for 60k subs, we might do a Try Not to Laugh Memes Deception Edition. We're gonna see how things pan out, so make sure you are something to follow me to Instagram, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and freaking peace.